Welcome to this explainer. Look, I want you to picture a Fortune 500 CEO. We're talking about a brilliant visionary who just spent 18 grueling months crafting the absolute perfect 5-year strategy. It's beautifully designed. It's backed by, endless charts. And to everyone sitting in that boardroom, it feels completely bulletproof. Until about 6 months later, boom, a massive, unforeseen global disruption hits. But instead of adjusting, our CEO just doubles down. They literally mandate that the company sticks to the original plan, completely ignoring the alarm bells ringing in every single department. And the result? Within a year, the company loses half its market share to a scrappy competitor who didn't even have a strict 5-year plan. Today, we are dismantling a massive myth about what it takes to be at the top. We so often picture great leaders as these rigid, unyielding visionaries, right? The ones who stubbornly stick to a single master game plan no matter what the universe throws at them. But the reality? Well, the data tells a completely different story. We're going to unpack the absolute vital concept of leadership flexibility and explore exactly why the very best in the business never, ever stand still. 70%. Let that sink in for a second, because that is a staggering majority. When researchers actually sat down and analyzed the performance of top-tier executives, the ones who successfully navigated their companies through major industry disruptions, they found that 7 out of 10 had completely scrapped their original strategies mid-execution. Actually, scratch that. They didn't just tweak a few marketing budgets or slightly alter a product timeline. They actively changed their core strategies entirely on the fly. These leaders aren't locked into sunk costs, and they definitely aren't paralyzed by the fear of looking indecisive. Instead, they're constantly moving, assessing, and adjusting. It's fast-paced, it's urgent, and honestly, it is the true reality of modern leadership. You just cannot set a course, turn on the autopilot, and fall asleep at the wheel anymore. The exact moment you assume your initial plan is flawless, you've already started losing. The leaders driving that 70% figure, they understand a crucial truth. The map is never the territory. When the terrain changes, they immediately draw a new map. So I've got to ask you, when these top-tier leaders pivot at the literal last second and secure a massive win, is it just luck or is it flexibility? I mean, it's incredibly tempting to look at a CEO who suddenly shifts their company's entire manufacturing base just weeks before a massive geopolitical crisis and think, wow, they just got incredibly lucky. But pulling off a major strategic shift in the middle of total chaos, that isn't some happy accident. No way. It is a deliberate, highly honed, and essential skill. True flexibility actually requires a massive operational framework working behind the scenes. It means you're building supply chains with built-in redundancies. It means creating a corporate culture where lower-level managers are actively empowered to make localized decisions without waiting around for approval from the top. And it means maintaining cash reserves that are specifically meant for sudden pivots. It's a highly calculated, systematic process. And that is exactly what separates the folks who just get lucky once from the ones who systematically win, decade after decade. And look, here is exactly why that kind of systematic flexibility is absolutely mandatory right now. We live in a world that moves incredibly fast, relentlessly driven by 3 totally unpredictable environmental factors. First up, markets shift overnight. A single viral social media trend or a sudden, totally unexpected change in global trade policies can literally obliterate consumer demand for your flagship product in a matter of hours. Second, tech evolves at breakneck speeds. That cutting-edge, multi-million-dollar software suite you were so proud of integrating last year, yeah, it's probably already functionally obsolete because some AI startup just released a better, faster version for a fraction of the cost. And third, teams grow and mutate into entirely new dynamics. The tight-knit group of 10 people who built your company is going to function completely differently than the globally distributed team of 500 running it today. Just think about it. If you are glued to just one rigid game plan while these 3 tectonic plates are shifting violently under your feet, you are absolutely going to miss out. You simply cannot afford to be static when everything around you is accelerating. Now, the core difference here really comes down to how leaders psychologically process that crazy changing world. When you are mentally glued to a specific plan, you inherently view any kind of change as a mortal threat. It's terrifying, right? Because it breaks your whole mental model. You end up treating your original strategy like a life preserver, not realizing it has actually turned into a heavy, sinking concrete block that's just pulling you underwater. You'll find yourself desperately clinging to outdated spreadsheets from 4 years ago, violently insisting that the market is wrong and your data is right. But when you have a flexible mindset, change isn't a threat at all. It's an opportunity. Instead of fighting the current, you're out there surfing the wave. It's your chance to gain massive ground while all of your competitors are busy panicking in their boardrooms. Flexible leaders recognize that the plan serves the ultimate goal, not the other way around. So if the plan stops serving the goal, you don't lower your expectations. You immediately fire the plan. Okay, let's put this into a high-stakes, real-world scenario to see how this actually translates into on-the-ground action. Imagine a sudden supply chain collapse hits your industry. A vital global port shuts down completely, and your raw materials are stranded thousands of miles away. There's panic everywhere. So how does the flexible leader react? Well, step one, they pivot fast. They don't waste precious time mourning the old logistics plan or writing angry emails to the port authority. Now, within hours, they are on the phone securing secondary domestic suppliers, even if it cuts into short-term margins. Step two, because they act so decisively, they inspire deep trust. When their team looks up, they see a captain actively navigating the storm, gripping the wheel, rather than a captain hiding below deck just hoping the storm passes over. They clearly communicate the new reality without sugarcoating a single thing. And step three, that raw transparency and decisive action allows them to keep their teams fully motivated. The team isn't paralyzed by uncertainty anymore because they have a new immediate mission to execute, literally no matter what unpredictable curveball is thrown their way. Adapt, lead, and never stand. So I want to leave you with this. The next time a sudden crisis hits your desk or a massive shift completely upends your career trajectory, how are you going to react? Are you going to freeze, holding tightly onto the sinking concrete block of a broken plan? Or will you embrace the shift, drop the old spreadsheets, and immediately start drawing a new map? Because the greatest leaders in the world, they don't just survive change, they weaponize it to win. Take a really hard look at your own daily routines, your own strategies, and ask yourself where you might be being just a little too rigid. Build that flexibility into your approach today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Now get out there and keep moving forward.